Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing just kind of like a sit down chatting video, and I don't even necessarily know how I'm going to structure this, but I know that I want to talk about it, and that's just kind of like my weight loss journey so far. So if y'all have been a part of my channel for a while, then you would have probably witnessed a lot of this kind of over the last year. I've come a long way in that year, and I feel like I've learned a lot, and that's why I wanted to make this video and just kind of share where I was at and kind of how I got to where I'm at now. I have a lot of videos on my channel, just like some what I eat in a days and fitness hauls and like kind of a lot of stuff just slowly kind of giving little glimpses into some of the changes that I've made, but I've never really talked about it. A lot of my vlogs discuss it in, you know, some level of detail here and there, but I wanted to kind of do a sit down video talking about it because I hopefully can help some of you guys. And actually that's kind of like the biggest thing now that I've become such a long way and I feel like I have a little bit of like credibility in this department. That's kind of where I feel like a lot of my motivation comes from, is helping motivate other people. Because a lot of people, like really surprisingly, a lot of people that I know, you know, in my current life, like people that are part of my life right now, but then also people from kind of like the past, like high school and college and all. And a lot of people have reached out to me and asked me like, how have you done it and what are you doing and what kind of workouts do you do? Just this week, I feel like I've heard from like 10 or 11 people just telling me that I'm giving them motivation to work out and to change their lifestyle. But I've just been getting reached out to people just telling me how much like they appreciate what I'm posting and how I'm really helping motivate them, and that was really never my intention. Of course, I'm like, it really truly like fills me up with joy when people tell me that, because sometimes I feel like I don't even have the motivation to keep doing what I'm doing, but the fact that other people are motivated by me is what motivates me. It kind of is just like this self-perpetuating cycle in a really good way. And so now that I've kind of recently started feeling like I'm kind of helping people, or at least able to kind of jumpstart people in some kind of direction, I thought it would be time to make this video. So let's start back in the beginning. So I was a lot heavier a couple years ago. When I first graduated college, I was a store manager for like Abercrombie & Fitch and Hollister. So I was working in a mall. I was eating a lot of the junky food there. I was having Starbucks like every day, all day long, just constantly getting refills of Starbucks. I was drinking a lot of calories. I was eating a lot of calories. I literally just didn't think about my weight at all whatsoever. It's like a slow creep, you know, like you just kind of start getting off the wagon and then it kind of just becomes your lifestyle and you don't really even notice it. Before I graduated college, a lot of college, I was actually in pretty good shape. I was a vegetarian for 2 years throughout college, and that kind of helped keep my weight under control, and I was doing Insanity and P90X, and I was in like fairly okay shape. But for the most part, that was like maybe 2-ish years that I was like doing really well. But for the most part, I've kind of always struggled with my weight. Like ever middle school, high school, college, I was always just like a little chunky. I was never like obese by any means, but I was definitely always like a little chubbier, a little chunkier than everybody else. And I'm just always like just in general uncomfortable with my size, not super confident, definitely not like really feeling myself in a bathing suit or like even regular clothes, honestly. Like I just wasn't really comfortable in my own skin, and I know a lot of us, no matter what size we are, feel that way. So I definitely experienced that pretty much my whole like adolescence to like young adult life pretty much. And I tried like some stupid diets in the past. Like I remember one in particular where I literally ate like hard-boiled eggs for like every meal with like soy sauce. And it was supposed to be some kind of like scientific, like if you eat like 2 hard-boiled eggs for breakfast at the beginning of the day and then like a hard-boiled egg with carrots for lunch, and it was some kind of like scientific way that the foods interacted. Like I just did some stupid like crash diets. I was not smart about it. I was not healthy about it. And I thought being a vegetarian would help, and it definitely did to a degree. But when you're a vegetarian, you just eat a ton of sugar and sweets and pasta and carbs. Yeah, it like eliminates like bacon and other, you know, cheeseburgers, but there are a ton of super unhealthy options when you're a vegetarian. So that was definitely not like a long-term fix, and I did do that for 2 years, and I would say that it helped, but it was definitely not like the thing that really did it for me. So like I said, then I started working in a mall where I was like working full-time and eating like crap, and I just had like a lot of junky food at my disposal all the time. And I freaking love food, y'all. French fries, like if anyone that knows me or has ever met me, they know that cheese fries are my #1 favorite thing. They're the reason that I live is for cheese fries. I absolutely am addicted to cheese fries. French fries in general are just my favorite thing. Potatoes, carbs, all the things I love. And so that was my thing, especially at the mall. You know, there's French fries and there was sushi. Oh, so much sushi with spicy mayo. Oh, RIP. But I was actually in that job working at the mall when I met my husband. I mean, we hit it off, obviously. At that time, I really never weighed myself just because I didn't really want to know, to be honest. And I And here's the thing, I wasn't like unhappy. Like I wasn't an unhappy person. I wasn't like depressed about my size. I wasn't like, I didn't love how I looked in the mirror, but it didn't affect my daily life. I didn't like think I was gross. I didn't hate myself, and I was truly like a happy person. The whole time I met my husband, the whole time we were dating, before that I was, you know, seeing other people and working my job and like living my best life. And yeah, I was a little chunky and I wasn't in love with my figure, but I was a super happy person. And I think that's kind of one of the things that sometimes comes up in these kind of stories, is that they weren't happy, the person, whoever it may be. And I'm sure this is definitely the case for a lot of people, that they're just unhappy when they're a certain size, and it kind of like affects them on like a mental level, and I definitely get that. But for me, I was just as happy then as I am now. So I kind of want to preface this by saying that I think that you can be happy at any size, and I think even if you're still in the beginning or middle, wherever you are in your journey, I think you can still love life and love the progress you're making and still love yourself regardless of how much progress you've made so far. And that is the one thing that has always been constant. I've always just been a happy-go-lucky person, and I was never really like, it didn't get me down. But of course I wasn't like happy with it. I wasn't like excited about how I looked, but it didn't really completely affect my life, and I'm thankful for that. And my husband still obviously fell in love with me and proposed to me at that size, and I never really took my fitness or my weight very seriously. My husband has always been the kind of person that goes to the gym 6 days a week, 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. And I knew that I wasn't a healthy person. I was working an office job after we started dating, so I was very sedentary. I was sitting all the time. I was eating like I always did, but a little bit better because I wasn't at the mall and I wasn't eating like the Wendy's 4 for $4 and sushi all the time. So I was definitely eating better, but I just didn't cook well. I would make like a tater tot casserole and like chili cheese dogs and just like the stuff that like Delish or Tasty will put in like their little like videos on Facebook or Instagram, and that stuff is delicious, but you cannot be having that every day for every meal. And that's what I was doing, and it was delicious, but it's not a balanced way to eat. And to be honest, I was probably like not just very nutritious in general, like almost like malnutrition, because I didn't eat fruits or vegetables. I like was not conscious of what I was eating. I just ate what tasted good. And again, that's a very slow creep. I'll put on this screen here my picture from my honeymoon. Mind you, like I said, I've been working an office job this whole time. I did not eat healthy, and I literally hadn't worked out since college. I hadn't worked out in years. So again, I'm not like, you know, huge. I'm not like obese by any means, but I'm pretty chunky. I honestly look still like me, but just kind of like swollen. Like I just have a lot in my midsection and in my face and in my arms. I was always very, very self-conscious of my arms in particular, like my upper arms. I would hate that in pictures. It wasn't like one day I just woke up and I was like, holy crap, I'm huge. But I started noticing like the clothes that I was wearing in college, like they weren't fitting anymore. And it never really occurred to me like, Shannon, these aren't fitting anymore because you've gained a significant amount of weight. Like jeans weren't buttoning anymore. Like I literally couldn't wear the same clothes, but because you see yourself every day, you don't really notice how much it's piling on. And so eventually I was sick of it. So we moved to North Carolina after we got married. The size I am in that picture is the size I was when I got married. I didn't try to diet to fit into my wedding dress. I didn't do anything special. Like my husband knows what I look like, I'm good. And then after we got married and we moved to North Carolina, and my whole life kind of changed. I got a new job, we bought a house, like just so many things about my lifestyle changed. And I was a lot more active because I work in a restaurant now, so I'm a lot more active. I'm on my feet a lot, and I finally decided that like it was time that I took control of how I looked and how I felt and how I ate and did something about it. It's all in my control, and that's what I like had to realize. Like, Shannon, you can do something about this. You are not like trapped in this body. This body is yours, and it is yours to do something with. And if you want to change something about it, then you just have to change something about it. There's nobody else is like puppeteering you. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And of course, that's kind of the hard part with any diet, is committing to it and then sticking to it and realizing that you do have the control to have self-control over what you're eating and what you're doing. So it was February, and I was like, I'm doing this. I'm gonna lose the weight. And I did not want to work out. Like I was saying, I had told my husband like years before when he was like all gung-ho about working out all the time, and I knew that I should be working out, and he's like, you should just work out, like just not even for weight, not for physical appearances, but just to be healthy for your heart. And I was like, I'm not working out. I'm not gonna count my calories. I was like dead set on like, I like the way I live, I like the way I eat, I'm gonna I'm just gonna keep living my life. It took me like 2 years to realize that that's not really sustainable, that's not healthy, that's not a good way to just, like, it's not a good attitude to live your life by. You have to take some ownership for your health. And even if it's not to look a certain way, at least so that your insides are in good shape and you can have a good heart and you can live a long time and all those different things. And then of course we were, you know, planning on starting a family and trying to get pregnant at some point after getting married. The, you know, smaller you are as you gain weight through pregnancy, you're not just compounding onto like all this weight you had before. If I get smaller before I'm pregnant, then at least the weight I gain as I'm pregnant won't like set me all the way up here. I'll at least be a little bit closer to where I want to be afterwards, rather than just like compiling that weight onto all this weight that I already didn't want. So I figured now's the time, and literally people ask me like literally daily on Instagram, like, what did you do? Like, what kind of program did you follow? I literally just counted my calories. And there's a really amazing app, and this is not sponsored at all, but it's called Lose It. And I'm telling you, it is the reason that I lost so much weight. I know there's like a million different, you know, weight loss apps, MyFitnessPal, all that kind of stuff, but to be honest, this one I feel like is completely different, and it's really truly the reason that I was so successful. It gives you, you know, how many calories you should eat based on your current weight and your goal weight and your height and all that kind of stuff, and then it breaks down by breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack how many calories you should allocate to each meal. But if you say, for example, it tells you for breakfast to eat 350 and you eat 250, it'll allocate that other 100 calories you didn't eat kind of like proportionately to lunch, dinner, and snack. So it'll kind of like add like maybe 30 here, 40 there, and 10 there. And that wasn't the correct math, but you know what I mean. It'll just recalculate all of your calories to the other meals. So it really helps you throughout the day kind of gauge how much you should be eating for each meal. You can literally just scan the barcodes of your yogurts or your chips or anything that you're eating at home from the grocery store, your cereal. It will take the barcodes of literally anything. I have stuff from Aldi, Food Lion, Publix, Harris Teeter. It will literally take the barcode from anything. Plus, if you go out to eat, you can just type in like Burger King Big Mac, which you probably shouldn't be having, but we'll get to that part because I definitely don't like completely restrict myself. I'm a girl that loves carbs and food, so we'll get there. It's all there. It's really mindless. You hardly have to think about it. It's so easy to keep track of everything. And if you have like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or anything, you can also sync them and it'll keep track of how much you're burning. So if you do a workout or you're just super active that day, if you burn a ton of calories, it'll actually let you earn like bonus calories if you've just like worked out or just been super active that day. And after a certain threshold, it'll start adding those calories you've burned back into your eating budget, and you can eat more that day because you've burned so many calories. It literally takes the thought out of losing weight, and all you have to do is enter what you're eating. And you have to be honest about it. You have to put everything that you're putting in your mouth in there. I highly recommend some kind of like activity band, to be honest, an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or something, because it's like a really good way to keep track of your activity level. But for the first like 6 months, my first like 20 pounds, I literally just counted calories. I didn't work out a single time. All I did was count my calories, and like it freaking works. It's just science. It's just being at a calorie deficit. There's like no special keto or Atkins or like all these crazy things. There's nothing fancy to it. You just have to eat less calories than you burn. You have to burn more calories than you eat. And that's all there is to it. And honestly, like I always wish I had like some kind of like magical answer or something to help people, but it's just, you just have to watch what you eat. But the beauty of it not being keto or any of these really restrictive diets is you can still eat whatever you want. And that's the beauty of it. Like for me, I can't not eat pizza. I cannot eat fries. I work at a restaurant. I'm constantly eating all kinds of food, but I can. If I had to cut out carbs or cut out sugar, A, I would be miserable, and B, I would never stick to it. I know that, and I would not want to set myself up to fail, and that's the biggest thing. You can't set yourself up to fail. So I knew that I had to do something that was realistic, and that means that if I want to have a piece of pizza for lunch, I can have a piece of pizza for lunch. I can have 2 pieces of pizza for lunch, and if that adds up to 500 calories, that means I just need to have a smaller dinner. So maybe I have just like a salad with grilled chicken for dinner, and it's just totally like a trade-off, and it's totally worth it, because if you want to eat something, you can eat it, but you just have to kind of, you know, make sacrifices in other areas. So I could eat a lot. I could eat a lot, especially if I'm eating healthy. I could eat a ton. And if I wasn't eating healthy, I couldn't have a ton of cheese fries, but I could have cheese fries, you know, once a week, and then just kind of fit in the healthy meals around it. That is my biggest tip, and I think that's why I was so successful, is because I still ate what I wanted, I still ate what I loved, but all things in moderation. And that was why I was able to lose about 20 pounds just in like 6-ish months with counting calories. And it was after about 6 months that I really started losing the weight, and you will notice when you start losing the weight, I mean, of course you want to check the scale, but also like my clothes all started fitting differently, and that was such a rewarding part of it. And some of those shorts that I literally couldn't button years before were too big, and I had to have my mom take them in. Like, that was how much weight I had lost. It was so clear. And then I started incorporating working out, and that is when things I feel like really changed. I really didn't like working out, mind you. Like, I never was the kind of person that enjoyed it, but I joined a gym and I started going to classes, and I do feel like classes are really, depending on what kind of person you are, I feel like classes are a really good way to kind of like assimilate yourself into like the workout world, because I'm the kind of person, I can't just go to the gym and like just go on random equipment. I like don't know how many reps to do, how many sets, how much weight to put on it. I probably don't even really know how to use the machine in the first place, and I always just felt like I was like aimlessly walking and spending an hour and a half doing I don't know even what. So the classes were such a huge help. I did cycle, body pump, Zumba. It's a really good way to kind of teach you how to start using the equipment at the gym, how to start weightlifting, and you're just doing it with like a bunch of other girls. There's music, it can be really fun, and it really helped me start loving working out. I looked forward to going to my classes, and it really like gave me some guidance on what to do. I literally needed the instructor to tell me what to do, or I wouldn't know what to do. And having an Apple Watch, like I said, is such a huge benefit, because I loved looking down at the end of my workout and seeing that I had burned like 650 calories in an hour. It is so rewarding to see that number, know that you're getting stuff done, know that you can eat more now because of it. Because after 20 pounds, I kind of started like plateauing out a little bit. I knew I needed something to kind of kickstart it up again. So that is what really helped me burn a lot more calories, lose a lot more weight. And it's really now, after a year, you know, 6 months of that being just weight loss, and then another 6 months being weight loss, another like 10 pounds, and working out, that you can really tell like a difference. Like, I have abs, like literally just like popped up out of nowhere. And if you would have told me a year ago that you'd have abs and people would be messaging you, literally some girl told me the other day that I'm ab goals, or like I have ab goals, or your abs are goals, or whatever. But and then some other girl messaged me saying I want your stomach, or like I need your stomach, or like, it's really sweet, and it's honestly so flattering. And if you would have told me a year ago that people would be saying that to me, I would be like, shut up. Like, I'm not gonna work out, and I'm not gonna have abs, and no one's gonna know what I look like, you know, in a sports bra. And I never would have believed any of this was gonna be my life, but I kind of just made it happen. And I'm very happy with how I look now. And I think a lot of it was, like I said, the workout classes. And then I love Sydney Cummings here on YouTube. She's from Charlotte, actually. I would like literally just wish I would run into her at the grocery store, because I freaking love her. Her workout, she uploads a video every single day at 5 a.m. Every day, 365 days a year, she uploads a workout. So there's a million workouts on her channel, so many different things to choose from, different time amounts, from 10 minutes to 30 minutes to 45 minutes, with equipment, without equipment, HIIT workouts, kickboxing workouts, strength workouts, boot camp workouts. She has such a wide variety. She's just so freaking adorable. I just love working out with her. She's my favorite. She's who I've been following a lot for at-home workouts. At least for me, a lot of the success came from not trying to do too much all at once. I started with just the calories, because I knew if I started counting calories and working out, I was going to want to kill myself, and I was not going to stick with it. So I knew I just need to focus on the healthy component, the nutritious component, and just learning how to eat healthy. And I'm telling you, after you start really learning how to eat well, it just becomes a habit, and it doesn't feel like you're on a diet and you're not like, oh, egg whites again. Like, it's just how you think, and it's just how you eat, and it stops feeling like a diet, and it just starts feeling like, yeah, this is what I eat, and this is how I eat, and this is how I think about food. And that's a big part of it too. After you start counting calories, you start just pretty much knowing how much calories are in pretty much everything. Like, you can show me something and I will be within like 20 calories correct on how many calories are in something. I can guess just about anything. So at some point you can almost stop counting them in the app. I still do, but you can almost just start like kind of keeping track in your mind of how much you're eating, because you know so much about how healthy things are and how healthy things aren't. And it helps you just make really informed decisions without having to like look it up every time. And it just makes you conscious. It really makes you conscious of how much you're eating, of how much quantity. Are you dipping everything in ranch? That's what I was doing for literally like years and years and years. I dipped every bite of everything in ranch, and that just adds hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calories to your day so unnecessarily. Like, it's just such a waste of calories, to be honest. I mean, I love ranch, do not get me wrong, but you don't need it on everything. It's not a good use of calories. And so it just starts really becoming a lifestyle, and that sounds kind of corny because that's what everybody says, like, oh, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. But it really is, because it starts just being the way you think. You just think differently about food. You think differently about exercise. You look at everything differently in a much better way, because I eat so healthy. I'm so incredibly active. Like, I can just tell my body is just loving this new change, and I'm just a smaller person now. And ever since working out, you really can see a physical difference. I mean, after losing the 20 pounds from counting calories, I looked smaller. But once you start getting like fit and you start like working out and running and getting abs and getting muscles, you just look fit and you look good and you feel good and your clothes fit a certain way and you feel really comfortable. Like I feel really confident in a bathing suit now and in a sports bra and shorts and leggings. Like I love how my legs look. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have definitely a ways to go. And because I work out so much, I feel like it's a little tricky with the scale just because I have gained muscle and it's a little hard to tell, you know, on the scale once you start gaining muscle and not losing as much fat, things like kind of start plateauing out a little bit. But I can tell by the way I look and I can tell by the way my clothes fit. That's like a really good gauge for me. And I'm not being super crazy about my calories now. I'm kind of like eating a little bit just to maintain, but overall 30 pounds is something that I would have never thought that I would have lost. I'm a size 4 in jeans. I went from like a size 11 to a size 4, so I've lost a ton of inches and I know that I've lost a ton of weight and I feel really good. And honestly, like when I look in the mirror, I like what I see, and there are of course things that I want to continue to improve. Like, do not get me wrong, I definitely don't love everything I see. Like, don't get me wrong, there are certainly things that I want to continue to improve and work on, but I work out every day. I'm very active and it's just so good for your body. It's good for your heart, it's good for your muscles, it's good for how you look, it's good for your mind and your brain. And that kind of goes back to what I'm saying, I'm just as happy as I was back then. My weight doesn't really affect how happy I am, but it definitely affects how confident I feel, how much I like what I see in the mirror, how I feel about myself physically, how I present myself, and just kind of like your mental state in relation to how confident you are. I think that's what has the biggest impact, but I'm still just as happy as a person as I always was. And you can be happy at any size and any weight, and I don't think that your happiness should be tied to anything physical per se or how much you weigh. Trust me, accomplishing something like losing all the weight and getting fit is definitely something that makes you happy and definitely sparks joy and it definitely brings happiness, but I also don't think that it should be necessarily super intertwined, because you can be happy at any size at any stage in life, but you can always be happier. And I feel like I'm definitely happier and I'm just proud of myself. I really am. Like, I feel very accomplished. I'm very proud of myself, and I honestly didn't think I'd ever get here. I just never considered myself the kind of person that would be like a fitness girl or like a fit chick or count calories or be super health conscious. Like, I just never considered myself one of those people, and now I am one of those people and I love it and I'm so happy to be here. And I would never ever want to go back to the way I was, just because I wasn't healthy. I wasn't a healthy person. I didn't have a healthy lifestyle. I didn't have healthy habits. And if nothing else, if it's not for how you look, it needs to be for how you feel. But putting those together, it's just like such a winning combination, and it just makes you it changes everything about how you see life, see yourself. It just totally puts you in like a different mindset in a really positive way. I've come so far that I know that I cannot go backwards, and so I've really learned to love working out, to love eating healthy. I've really just learned like a lot of good meals and ways to cook that are really healthful but still delicious. But I still treat myself all the time. I still eat fast food, I still eat pizza, I still eat sweets. I don't limit myself in that way. I mean, of course, in terms of quantity I do, but I don't tell myself that I can't have anything, because I know if I do that, then I'm just gonna go ham when I get the opportunity to. So that's kind of my story. Those are kind of just like some of the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, and I hope that this helps you in some way. If you are on a fitness journey, then keep at it. Of course, my memory card filled up like right as I was wrapping this video up, but I feel like this video was a little bit all over the place. I didn't really make like a bullet point list of what I wanted to talk about. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts and share my experience. I hope I didn't leave anything out. If you really want to make a change, just start paying attention to how many calories you're eating, start getting a little bit more active, and do it over time. Don't push yourself too hard, but definitely commit to it. You have to show it for yourself and you have to commit to yourself, because you're the only one that's going to do that, and you're the only one that can make the change that you want. But I'm telling you, it's gonna be very difficult. Trust me, it was difficult. There was a lot of fluctuations in my weight. I got very frustrated many times when it felt like the scale just wasn't going in my direction. And trust me, like, you'll get discouraged at times, you will. But now that I'm here and I'm 30 pounds lighter and I'm in the best shape of my entire life, and I look in the mirror and I love what I see, and I'm like, wow, I'm proud of that girl. I like how that girl looks. I like how that girl feels. That's something that like money just can't buy, and it is so unbelievably worth it to just do that for you. No one can give you that, and nothing can replace that feeling. It's something that I never experienced before, and I've done a lot of things that I'm proud of in life, but I feel like this is probably one of the things that I feel the most accomplished and the most proud of that I've ever done, because it's one of the hardest things to do. And so that's, I think, my biggest takeaway is just learning how to commit to something and stick to something is a really just good lesson to learn in general. There's nothing quite like it. There's just nothing quite like loving what you see in the mirror and feeling like just that sense of pride in what you've been able to do. But there's also something to be said for how rewarding it feels to like be motivating other people and helping other people and giving other people advice. And at the end of the day, if it can work for anybody, it can work for just one person, then that is so cool. And I love that I'm able to just share like any level of motivation. So I think that's kind of what I'm hoping this video will do for you. If you have any questions, then definitely feel free to comment, like share your story. I would love to hear. I hope this was like some level of helpful or entertaining or motivating or inspiring or something. I know this was kind of all over the place. Just know if you were at the beginning of your fitness journey, I was there and now I'm here, and that someday you will be here since you're there now. And it's definitely a place that is worth getting to, and you will be so glad when you're there. So don't give up. Show up for yourself. You are worth it. It is worth it, and you will never ever regret it. Trust me. It feels amazing. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you would like, subscribe. We would love to have you. We have so much fun here. And until next time, I will see y'all in our next video. Bye guys.